Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I have missed you for the last couple of 2 days. For the last 2 days, yes, I think a rest was very necessary after the DCIO deal. So I decided to take the 2 days break. I'm back very bold and strong. Matian'gi Rigathi Clashe, I have been following closely, is a sideshow that betrays the one-term clarion call that they all purport to subscribe to. And in this podcast, we look into Jeremiah Kioni's letter delivering Uhuru Kenyatta's message, seeding ground to Rigathi Kalonzo. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get much into those details, let me say thank you very much for supporting this podcast. This is the 4th day of October. Subscribe to our channel. Subscription is absolutely free. But the advantage here is if you subscribe to our channel, you'll be getting notifications. Now, I urged you guys, and I told you we will make this podcast unique and very useful to the current discourse. And we urged you to take opportunity in the mass continuous voter registration that started last week on Monday, the 29th, or rather not this week, on Monday, 29th, for you to take time and go and register as a voter. And as I said, throughout the week, the IBC is saying that out of the 6.3 million new voters they are targeting, they've only been able to achieve 7,000 a day. The leading county in registration is Nairobi. And the least is Lamu, which has only registered one person. Nyamira has only registered 10. And less than 500 people have registered, have transferred their votes from one polling station to the other. That is bad news because really, by the end of the continuous voter registration, the number should be bigger, should be better. And I urge you to record yourself and share me a video. Please, let's have a listen to those who have offered to amplify their voices on urging Gen Z to register.
My vote, your vote is your voice, my vote is my voice. So nawahimiza kila Mkenya, tuamkeni, tuende, tuchukue kura. Yule hana kitambulisho, vijana, Gen Z, mjikaze. Raundi hiyo acheni kuzembea, acheni kulala. Please, twendeni tuchukue kura. 2027 ikifika, tujitokeze kwa wingi. Tuchague kiongozi ambaye analidi hii Kenya kutokana na corruption, mauaji, hiyo mambo mengi, takataka. Tunataka kubadilisha hii Kenya. Please, your vote, it is your voice. Kwa hivyo, tujitokeze kwa wingi, tuchukue 4 votes, tuende, tupige kura kwa wingi.
Ni aje majamaa, tumeanza kuchukua kura. Hope so. Na ni process rahisi sana. So, kitu unahitajika ni ID. No money, nothing. Ni ID peke yake. So, if you want change in leadership or you want good leadership, please jitokeze uchukue kura. Ukichukua kura itakuwa sawa. Anyways, for graphic design services, printing and branding services, hala me on 0791 20 8293. Pamoja tajenga Kenya. Na siri ni na
Hello, good morning. This message is to all the Gen Zs. You have been fighting and saying that you want change, and that is why you have been on the streets seeking, requesting, and asking for change. This is your time now. Go and register so that you can have an opportunity to cast that ballot when it comes in the year 2027, to speak in that ballot, to choose the leaders that you desire and the leaders that you want, so that you can be able to see that change that you have been fighting for. Your colleagues have died in the process of seeking and wanting that change. Please honor your colleagues by going to register so that you can cast that vote and speak.
Register, register. And I need to tell you this, probably it's only us, and I want to say a big thank you and credit this platform. In my WhatsApp, I have close to around 59 people that have sent me, Kevin, I've registered. I've registered for the first time. 59 out of that 7,000. 59 through this podcast. And the state and the politicians will tell you the next empowerment program where they are going to attend church service, house shift, and affordable housing is working, but they will not remind you to go and register as a voter. So take time and register as a voter. Probably we are the only voices in it. Maybe that's why people are coming after us. But so be it. It's in the spirit of doing the right thing. And I want to, for the last 2 days, I have been following this conversation between Matiang'i and Rigathi Gachagua. And I want us to be very objective. I want us to analyze it very objective. Please weka emotions chini. Put your political alienation chini, put your emotions chini, and I want us to go very objective because that is what is the unique aspect of this podcast. There is this statement from Rigathi Gachagua that seemed to have rattled Matiang'i's camp.
Everywhere, getting elected as president is about political mobilization. Many people may want to spend a lot of time in hotels and boardrooms discussing theories. I am a very experienced politician who have delivered 2 presidents to this country, and I know how to make a president. There is no president you'll make in a boardroom. Presidents are made in the field. Sindio? So sisi ni watu ya mashinani, and you must go and mobilize people and inspire them, and you must have content. People must remember what you say 1 month down the line. That is how you become a president. So sisi tuko hapo na tunasukuma ground, and I want to encourage all of you, mukitoka hapa murudi kwa ground. There are 5 options on how you get elected as an MCA, MP, senator, governor, or president. Option number 1, ground. Option number 2, ground. Option number 3, ground. Option number 4, ground. Option number 5, ground. There is no other formula. Unajua mimi naona watu wako na mastori mingi. Ati unafikiri ukiweka picha ya mtu ate kwa social media he can be president. Ati unaweka picha the 6th. That cannot make you president. You must go out there and mobilize numbers. And you must inspire the people of Kenya. If they admire you, you must translate that admiration to votes. If they believe in your philosophy, you must convert that belief.
Listen to this. Now take a minute, and before we look at Matiang'i's feedback, take a minute and tell me, surely, what do you find wrong with Rigathi Gachagua's statement? And that statement is not complete. By the way, that statement is not perfect. It's not like it's true reflection. What do you find true or false with that statement? I want to explain for you on my end, my opinion though. Remember, you can also put your perspective in the comment section. I think for Rigathi to say that he's made 2 presidents, my assumption is probably he's talking about former President Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto. Now, that statement, it only underpins it demystifies the place of a Kenyan to make his own decision. But again, there is also some point there. He's saying that you cannot be made a president by just shouting by the boardroom and saying the sixth in social media, declaring yourself the sixth in social media. Now, in this podcast, we can go on record, and I think for those who've been viewers, you understand, I've been saying here that opposition needs to come out of the boardroom and the press briefings and the media interviews and go out and speak with the voter. So on Rigathi saying that, I agree with him that is the way to go. That you cannot be made president by being in the boardroom. You need to go out and speak to the voter. You look at how many rallies Kindiki is doing in a day. Kindiki there, Farouk there, Nani the other place, even though they are misusing it. But if they can win it through boardroom, why are they spending a lot of money kwenda kuongea na wananchi and to bribe them? Because they want to establish the contact with the people. Now, I don't understand why Zach Kinuthia, who is a close confidant of Jeremiah Kioni in the Jubilee party, found fault and felt like they had to take that snippet of president cannot be made in social media, probably to wage a war against Rigathi.
Mimi naona watu wako na mastori mingi. Ati unafikiri ukiweka picha ya mtu ate kwa social media he can be president.
I show you the power of social media. Uone video umeweka, watu wameanza kucomment aje. Ama tuseme hivi, mimi Zaki Kinuthia, mimi natumiaga Facebook, natumiaga social media mbili peke yake. Mimi natumiaga tu Facebook and TikTok. Mimi siko hizi zingine sana. I am not very active. Sasa nataka tufanye kitu na nyinyi. Hebu ingia Facebook. Ingia Facebook. Kila mtu akona account ya Facebook. Tuingie Facebook tu sahi. And then your shillings at rais yakuwe na. Okay, bas who will ever be president here? If you have to have 8 billion for you to lead the country. Hapa ni nani? Familia gani iko na pesa kama hizo? So, ingia Facebook, uandike pale. Hivi nitakueleza. This is mine so that you give me the feedback tukitoka hapa. Andika hapa. The person to fix this country as the 6th president is Fred Okengo Matiang'i. Uandike tu hivyo in your own words. The person to fix this country as the 6th president is Fred Okengo Matiang'i. Then monitor the comment ya kwanza na ya pili na ya tatu. Wewe uko na watu 3,000, 5,000, mwingine kama mimi niko na 70,000 followers. 70,000 hata 35,000 wakiona leo vile nimeandika hapa. 35,000 hata ni media house gani iko na hiyo nguvu? Inoro TV, Citizen TV, all those things are also on. Uweke hiyo alafu unionyeshe tukitoka. Guys, as we go home, I want to task you with a single responsibility of changing your life for the sake of your children.
Because to my end, not everything even needed a response. And the reason why I didn't see the sense of Zach Kinuthia's response, that response on Rigathi, is the feedback that came from Matiang'i. And I told you guys I want us to be very objective. You've got to love how Matiang'i responded.
On the issue of the opposition, you know, I want to go over this very carefully because, you know, electoral contests and the transition that we are going to as a country is also a leadership moment, which requires a lot of restraint, a lot of maturity, a lot of consultation and inclusion. Building unity and cohesion in a political framework takes time. It's not an easy matter. If you reflect, for those of you who are here, President Mwai Kibaki, Charity Ngilu, the late Michael Wamalwa Kijana, Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga, and all those who are involved in forming NAC, it just didn't happen suddenly. It took time. It's a long and painstaking exercise of building alignment of visions, alignment of perspectives, convincing one another and building cohesion and bringing people together. These matters are weighty issues. You're talking about the leadership of the nation, individuals and parties and groups that come from diverse backgrounds, that sit down over long periods of time to argue and even harmonize their perspectives to get to a point where they say, okay, this is the platform now we have agreed on, and this is the way we are going to go forward, and this is how our team is going to look like. So that patience that is required is exactly required now. You know, I've said in other environments before that our patience will be tested. Our perseverance will be tested. Our sense of patriotism will be tested. But we must overcome those temptations.
He was addressing it. This question, he was in Nakuru to meet some Gen Zs or probably some Jubilee party team. But you've got to understand his approach to the opposition question. He's a bit restrained. It doesn't seem to be waging the conflict. Listen to this. Now, from this response by Matiang'i, you would want to take away anything from him, but you must give him the credit that he's so restrained and a bit more sensitive to the context of united opposition. Now, that is the difference between Rigathi and Matiang'i. Rigathi is having a scorched earth policy in politics where unafagia wote ukienda. And I think to him, if someone is an enemy, is an enemy. Now, in the face of this difference, Matiang'i comes up, if you compare Rigathi and Matiang'i comes out a bit more reserved, a bit more sensitive, and collected, not overrun by probably emotions of the moment. Now, that's presidential material. Maybe. But what I wanted to look at, I was just demonstrating that to show you a bit of what you need to, how you need to look at that perspective. But I saw the letter from a move by Jubilee Party. The first move is the Jubilee Party has made two moves I want us to look at. The first one is to withdraw their candidate from Kariobangi North by-election. And this is what Jeremiah Kioni posted. The Jubilee Party wishes to announce that it will not be fielding a candidate in the forthcoming Kariobangi North ward by-election, cognizant of the fact that this seat was previously held by Honorable Munuve, who was working with Wiper Democratic Movement in Kenya. In the spirit of opposition unity, Jubilee Party has resolved to rally its full support behind the Wiper Party candidate. This decision reaffirms our collective commitment to solidarity, strengthening the voice of the opposition and ensuring that the people of Kariobangi North continue to receive effective representation. Mbele pamoja. So that is Kariobangi North withdrawn in favor of Wiper. There is another withdrawal from Bere. Remember, Pauline Njoroge had really told us clearly about this. This was on 1st of October. This letter was sent to candidate Jacob Mbao. I want us to read the text of the letter of Jubilee withdrawing their candidate from Bere North. We sincerely regret to inform you that the Jubilee Party is unable to issue a nomination certificate at this time. This decision arises from a resolution made by United Opposition under the leadership of His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka and Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, amongst others, to field a single candidate under the Democratic Party in Bere North by-election slated for the 27th of November 2025. We regret the inconvenience this may cause and remain grateful for your commitment and dedication in the party. As a party, we stand for unity within opposition, and we will sacrifice all it takes to maintain the unity. Yes, so the Jubilee Party is turning down on the call for opposition unity, at the time, a conflict was being waged between the two. I'm making some two reaction to this letter by Kioni. Do you guys realize the meeting that resolved to field to support the opposition candidate, the Democratic Party candidate, Newton Karish, in Bere North, was made in a meeting that was attended by Martha Karua, Kalonzo Musyoka, Rigathi Gachagua, Justin Muturi, Eugene Wamalwa, and Matian'gi. But in this letter, Kioni is only referring to two gentlemen, two key luminaries there, Kalonzo and Rigathi Gachagua. And he has left out, so you'll even wonder now, when Jubilee dropped, who was representing Jubilee in that meeting? This is why, and I think it's a signal that has been sent to pour cold waters, because the tension was coming a bit high, that there is a conflict between Matiang'i and Rigathi. In the view of this development, there's some three observations I am making that I want to clarify. That there is absolutely no problem Matiang'i vying through the Jubilee Party. Opinion is divided as to whether he should go UPA or Jubilee, or whether he should have his own party or Jubilee. When I listen to former President Uhuru Kenyatta is saying, you don't need to get a tribal party that's representing a specific tribe. You don't need to. That is the voice of Uhuru Kenyatta. He sees Jubilee Party as a national party. And of course, it's true. It's not more inclined towards Mount Kenya. However, all the Jeremiah Kioni and his camp does not see party in that frame. They see the party as a revival route in Mount Kenya. Now, it is the decision and it is democratic right of whoever, the presidential candidate, to choose which party he wants to go to the ballot with. However, to where Matiang'i is seated, the Jubilee endorsement comes with a lot of bonuses. The party sponsorship is very important. And the Jubilee Party can heavily sponsor a candidate, probably if it is their own presidential candidate. When it's bargaining with other parties that are there in the coalition agreement, with the blessings of former President Uhuru Kenyatta, he can get his way. But when it comes to three other aspects, I want to say this. The Jubilee Matiang'i card is very complicated by these three factors. Let me tell you. Matiang'i backers, those who are backing Matiang'i in Jubilee Party, are not pushing his presidential bid. They're only interested in making a semi-god for themselves so that they can use Matiang'i to rival the growing Rigathi influence in Mount Kenya. And through that, I know Zach Kenodia comes from Murang'a. There was a report he was going for Kigumo seat or somewhere there. One thing they are looking at is, if Jubilee fields a presidential candidate, through that probably the party is going to get a leaf of life. And probably they've done the research and know very well that Kenyans are really having a soft spot for Matiang'i. Then through that, they will be able to, the Jubilee Party ticket will have some weight to rival Rigathi. Ladies and gentlemen, does Jeremiah Kioni look like he's campaigning for Matiang'i? Does Ngunjiri Wambugu, the Nyeri town member, former Nyeri town member of parliament, even the Zach Kenodia, do these leaders sound like they're campaigning for Matiang'i? They are not. They are not. There is a bit more objective of fighting Rigathi than campaigning for Matiang'i. And that is the problem. The ticket is very nice. The sponsorship is there. The party leader has a goodwill. But the fellows from Matiang'i downwards, from Kioni downwards, let me tell you, do you know why Kioni has left out Matiang'i's name there? He does not, and he will not take it that Matiang'i is his senior. Oh, someone close to Matiang'i should tell him that. Whisper to him that there is some young man seated somewhere. Say this. This is it. The second complex aspect with the Jubilee card is the state is clearly using it to push Uhuru Rigathi conflict. From the Kioni letter, I'm a bit more convinced there is no conflict between Rigathi and Uhuru. But it is a creation that serves some specific purpose. And people would want it. That is the other front of those who want to get. Let me tell you, even the Uhuru Rigathi conflict is being used to benefit UDA. And the other third thing is this. Jubilee network, Matiang'i is supposed to inherit, appears inactive. It appears inactive to me. Because, you know, sometimes ODM has its own problems. But do you know that ODM is going to hold a meeting in Kakamega, Watajaza? They have their network. ODM will have a meeting in Mombasa, Watajaza, they have their network. ODM will hold a meeting in Turkana, Watajaza, they have their network. ODM is going to have a meeting in northeastern Kenya. They can. Who is the Jubilee Party chairman in Mandera? Is it there? Who is the ODM Jubilee Party chairman in Turkana? So whatever is being clothed as Jubilee network, that network appears inactive because psychology of that network is we are done. We are not in this. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my take. What is related in this podcast is my opinion. I'm reading through the comment section to see what you think. Probably it can constitute our next video, but I have a very good report coming next on the voter registration. Something needs to be done there. Thank you.